This is what you should expect this week based on your rising sign. If you don't know what your rising sign is, it's also called your ascendant sign. I have a free chart calculator linked in my bio that will tell you your whole chart, including what your rising sign is, but it's called the ascendant sign in my chart calculator. As always, you can fast forward to your sign using the timestamps I put on the screen. Aries rising, the start of the week is going to make you feel a bit introspective, a bit emotionally intense. You might want to spend more time alone. Some fears might be bubbling up to the surface for you to address so you can let go of them. And as the week goes on, towards the middle of the week, we have Mercury entering your sign, which is going to give you a lot of confidence when it comes to how you communicate. But you don't want to go after it too much with communication this week because we have a Mercury-Neptune conjunction that can bring a bit of confusion. So even though you're going to feel clear when you're communicating this week, there could still be a bit of some miscommunication, so just keep that in mind. Either way, your intellectual energy is going to be strong starting in the middle of the week. You're going to be feeling more confident. And then by the end of the week, your energy really gets more passionate with Mars entering Leo. Mars in Leo is going to remind you to have fun, to find the joy in your life, to do things that appeal to your inner child. And Taurus season starting at the end of the week is going to have you focused on your finances, your self-worth, your values. So the start of the week is really about releasing your fears so you can really step into your power and your confidence towards the end of the week. Taurus rising, the start of the week, you're focused on your relationships. It's a good time to have an emotional conversation or a conversation you want to share how you feel with a partner, with a friend, with even a business partner. By the middle of the week, you're going to feel a bit more introspective. You're going to want to spend more time alone. Mercury is going to shift signs, which is going to make you feel more introspective, more in touch with your spirituality too. So it's a great time to start meditation. Towards the end of the week, when Mars enters Leo, you're going to feel an urge maybe to redecorate your home, clean out your living space, take action when it comes to giving yourself more stability and emotional security. And then at the end of the week, your season starts. So you're really stepping into your confidence. So use the beginning of the week to get any important conversations out. Spend some time reflecting, and then at the end of the week, you're stepping into your power. It's your season again. Gemini rising, at the beginning of this week, anything that's been bothering you in your daily routine could start to bubble to the surface and need to be addressed. This could have to do with your health and wellness routines. Just check in with yourself when it comes to self-care at the beginning of the week. Then as the week goes on towards the middle of the week, you're going to be feeling more social. You're probably gonna maybe get together with friends, experience something as a community. And by the end of the week, you will still be having this social energy. You're going to have a lot going on, your day-to-day routine. You're busy, you're being productive, you're wanting to share your voice more. You're probably going to want to share your voice, especially as Taurus season starts. You want to share your voice when it comes to your spiritual beliefs, when it comes to healing and helping others. So, because you're having this moment where you have some wisdom coming into you this week that you can share with other people if you feel like it. Cancer rising, at the beginning of this week, you're focused on having fun, doing what brings you joy, expressing your creativity. And then as the week goes on, your focus shifts more to your work. You're feeling productive. You want to accomplish your goals. You're getting stuff checked off your to-do list. You're feeling like you're moving forward in your career. There's a bit of confusion this week, but it's like you're still trusting that you're going the right path in your career. You're feeling the momentum picking up when it comes to your career. If you're not somebody who's working right now, then this has to do with your legacy, like what you're leaving to the world. And then by the end of the week with Mars entering Leo, you're focused on creating financial stability. You're focused on your values and just taking action towards your goals. So you are really goal focused towards the end of the week. And then by next weekend, you're feeling more social. You might want to go on a date. You might want to spend time with friends. So it's like the start of the week is fun. The middle of the week towards the end of the week is work, and then the weekend, it's time for a little bit of socializing. Leo rising, the start of this week, you are spending more time at home. You might have some things you have to take care of with your family, with your living environment. By the middle of the week, you're feeling more adventurous. You want to learn new things. You want to try. Maybe you go out and try a different type of food for dinner. You watch a documentary. You're wanting to learn and see a new perspective. And then at the end of the week, Mars is entering your sign, so you're going to be feeling more confident, more passion, more fiery. Watch out, use your fiery energy for good instead of like starting fights or being overly impulsive. But you can, start a workout routine. You can really just like get going on something that you're passionate about. And then as Taurus season starts at the end of the week, you're focused on your career and your long-term goals. If you're not somebody who's working at a career right now, you're going to be focused on your legacy, like what you want to accomplish, what you're leaving to the world. Virgo rising. At the beginning of the week, you might have to deal with something maybe from the past that is connected to your emotions in some way. Communication will feel more personal. It could feel like you want to share your feelings with your friends and your family. As the week goes on, you're thinking, in a deep way. You're being very introspective this week. You might have this moment where you're like, oh, this is clicking now. It's like this, you find out the truth about something maybe. And then by the end of the week, you're probably going to want to spend some alone time. You're feeling very introspective. It's time for meditation. And then as Taurus season starts at the end of this week, you're finally feeling like that fiery energy again. You're getting your excitement for life back. And it could be a great time to travel or plan a trip or just learn something new. Any heavy emotional energy from the first part of the week is going to ease up by the end of the week. Libra rising. At the start of the week, you might be focusing on your financial situation, your values, your sense of security. Make sure that what you're spending money on is actually on things that you value and that bring value into your life. It's a good time to check in with that. As the week goes on, you're shifting to focus on your relationships. It's a good time to maybe go on a date, to have a conversation with your partner. And then towards the end of the week, there might be some balancing that you're doing between spending time with friends or in your community and then spending time at home. You need a balance of both. As Taurus season starts at the end of the week, it's a very spiritual time for you. You can start to receive messages. So pay attention to, what you're seeing, any signs that you're seeing that you think, oh, could this be a sign from the universe? It likely is. You're going to have a stronger connection in a way, especially at the end of the week. It's really going to increase this energy. Scorpio rising. At the beginning of this week, you're very in touch with your emotions. It's a good time to express how you feel. As the week goes on, you get busier. It could be busier at work, just in your daily life. You are feeling more productive. If you have a big to-do list, it's a great time to start checking things off. And then by the end of the week with Mars entering Leo, it's really going to set into motion something when it comes to your career, something that when it comes to your legacy. If you're not focused on a career right now, it's like the big picture, what your goals, your ambitions, that's all coming into play, and you're feeling like a kick in this area, like a passion, a kick of passion where you're like, I need to start get going on something that I really want to work on. And as Taurus season starts, you start to focus on your relationships. It's a good time to spend with your partner or go on dates if you're single. And at the end of the week, you're able to see that like what your visions, what you've been imagining, you see clear steps forward to make them happen. Sagittarius rising. At the beginning of the week, you're feeling a bit low energy, you're feeling a bit mentally foggy. But as the week goes on, your energy is picking up. You are going to want to express yourself more, especially when it comes to your creativity. And then by the end of the week, we have Mars entering Leo, which is going to make you feel more optimistic about life. You might be ready to plan a trip, to go on a vacation, to just learn something new and explore. Then as Taurus season starts at the end of the week, you are getting more serious and you're focusing on your daily routines and being consistent and working towards your goals. Capricorn rising, the beginning of the week is a good time to have a emotional conversation or a conversation where you want to share your emotions with your friend or friends. By the middle of the week, you're focusing more on your home and your family. Maybe you have to have a conversation with a family member. Maybe you are doing some work around your house. By the end of the week, you're being asked to confront like a shadow side of yourself and release a fear that you've been holding on to. Then as Taurus season starts, you are feeling the fun energy come back in. You are feeling more passion and ready to connect with things that bring you joy. Aquarius rising, at the beginning of the week, you're thinking about your goals. Aquarius rising, at the beginning of the week, you're thinking about your career, your ambitions, what the next move is that you want to make when it comes to this part of your life. As the week goes on, your communication becomes very sharp and quick with Mercury entering Aries. At the end of the week with Mars entering Leo, there's more action and passion in your relationships. Make sure you balance time with people, like time with your partner, with time by yourself, because you're also going to have the strong pull to just spend some time alone at the end of the week. Pisces rising, at the beginning of the week, you're feeling this optimistic energy. You're thinking about the big picture. As the week goes on, then you're focused more on creating stability for yourself, your financial situation, your work-life balance. You're going to want to work hard this week, but also spend time with friends. As Taurus season starts, it's time for you to set off learning something new. Also, share your voice with the world.